Welcome to this new and special edition of the Queer God Squad. We are the coolest pastors you will ever meet.
Faith and religion can be complicated for the LGBTQ plus community. Survey shows that evangelical faith is the justification for the greatest attack on the LGBTQ plus community.
So the Queer God Squad is going to explore our religious community, explore the big news of the day and what it means to you.
And we are going to explore if we can find some places that help heal the pain and hurt that religion can be responsible for. We know you are going to find some hope, peace, and fun in our conversation.
It's 3 p.m. and the Queer God Squad is broadcasting daily.
This is live, and then we are available on demand.
We are available on all smart televisions, including Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, Amazon Fire TV, YouTube, and Facebook.
In the entire world, nothing like this has ever existed for the LGBTQ plus community before.
I am Reverend Dr. Darrell Watkins, the Senior Minister here at Sunshine Cathedral.
I am the Reverend Dr. Robert Griffin, the Executive Minister here at the Sunshine Cathedral.
I'm Reverend Dr. Ann Atwell, the Minister of Connections here at Sunshine Cathedral.
I am the Reverend Kevin Tisdall, the Minister of Education at Sunshine Cathedral.
Radical GOP and evangelicals have launched a culture war on our LGBTQ plus community. They want to push you back into the closet. We're not going.
At Sunshine Cathedral, we're here to tell you that you are God's miracle, not God's mistake. Our commitment in partnering with Happening Out Television Network and Queer News Tonight is to give the LGBTQ plus faith community this voice for change, for hope, that you are not alone. Here we go. The Sunshine Cathedral perspective. Catholic school students, parents, and teachers stand up to the Portland Archbishop. On January the 25th, Archbishop Sample quietly released a 17-page document titled A Catholic Response to Gender Identity Theory. The document was presented as a resource for Catholic schools. In it, Sample writes that gender is not a matter of fluidity, but rather binary, and that personal pronouns, too, are not a matter of interpretation. The document caused ripples of discomfort across the 15 schools within the Portland Archdiocese, as it turned out that the schools are using the document as guidelines rather than a resource. Tension heightened when earlier this month, the principal at St. Rose School began asking teachers one by one to agree to the guidelines laid out in Sample's document. Parishioners from St. Andrew, a progressive Catholic church in Northeast Alberta Street, began meeting in March in response to the guidelines. By June, the results was a community petition that had garnered more than 1,000 signatures, alongside numerous letters submitted by parents and a cover letter that asked for a meeting between Sample and a small group of representatives that had put together the petition. The petition, signatures, and letters submitted by parents and teachers and parishioners were dropped off at the doorsteps of the Archdiocese on June 21st. Not 24 hours later, Sample closed the Department of Catholic Schools. Now, I took a moment and I went to their website.
Right.
And I need to do a little fact finding for my own on that website. And I pulled up their little statement on the very beginning of the website about integrated schools, full into our mission. And then there's this line at the very bottom that says, the decision to close the Department of Education says this decision is unrelated to the publication of a Catholic response to gender identity theory and to school adopting classic educational model. So my question is why did they really close if that's not the issue? Then I went a little bit further and I dug into their mission statement. And I looked at their mission statement and I looked at their non-discrimination policy. And I was fascinated. The top part of the non-discrimination policy is pretty well standard for a lot of things, you know, about no discrimination based on race, color, nationality, ancestry, religion, physical disabilities, mental disability, medical condition, marital status, sex, age, pregnancy. But then I found this one little paragraph that I call the loophole.
Yeah.
And it states, this policy is subject to the parish's reservation of the right to make employment decisions based on principles of Catholic moral teachings, religious preferences, and other religious needs, criteria, and policy. So I found that their their loophole to get around all of this. It's going to be fascinating. It's going to come back to this is how we believe and this is what we're going to do whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Well, let me say, tag out, man. I can't do that.
You're it.
I need to say that the bishop's statement that gender is binary is wrong. The only thing wrong with it is that it's wrong. That's all. Yeah. It's that it's just not accurate. And we're not going to take the time to, but I've asked so many biologists, even down to high school biology teachers to PhD researchers. Nobody thinks this. Nobody. There's just look at the science. Would you please? Would you ask a scientist? Because then you'll be aware. So it is not about. It is a continuum. Now we all present mostly one or the other, but we all have characteristics that are considered the other. Some of us consider ourselves non-binary. Some people have a gender experience different from the sex they were assigned at birth, and so they are transgender. Most people, it's similar, so they're cisgender, the same. But it's various. And if it weren't, then you wouldn't have to legislate against it. You wouldn't have to have doctrines and dogma and Supreme Court and legislative sessions to control it. Because if it weren't natural, if it wasn't authentic and genuine, it would just die out like all fads do. So that you have to control it is proof enough that it's a thing, that it's real. And then also, to even control pronouns, really, like when you have to be that controlling, that it really is about control. This isn't about empowering people. This isn't about helping people live their best lives or express themselves honestly. This is about control. And it is control, once again, from a supposedly celibate, a supposedly celibate man. And so this person who has adopted an alternative lifestyle, living your life in a red dress, uncoupled, is not the norm. It is an alternative lifestyle. And this person who's chosen an alternative lifestyle is determining whose lifestyles are legit. That we don't laugh out loud as a planet, it just stuns me. So this is about control. This is unfair. And I realize that we think, well, it's religion. And religion gets a pass. And we're religious, aren't we? I'm religious for me. I'm not religious to control what you think about your body. I'm not religious to decide your gender identity. I'm not religious to keep anyone else from getting married. Yes, I am a religious person, but that's about me. And the minute I use it as a weapon to keep you from being you, then my religion is fraudulent.
Yeah.
And needs to be called out for that.
Yeah.
Right. I'm actually going to call out patriarchy and misogyny in this.
Well done. Thank you.
Because, I mean, if you go into a Catholic church, it is God the Father. It is God the Father. They use male identity, male, for God the Father. But I saw a Facebook meme recently, and it's been around, is God is the original they, them.
Yes.
Yes. There is no gender identity. There should be no gender identity for God. So allowing others, people, folks, to determine what works best for them, I mean, that only makes sense. But the Catholic Church is going to hang on to, with all their might, and control the use of very specific binary pronouns. They're not going to give it up.
Right.
But we can call it out, and we can see it for what it is.
Right.
It makes
a male patriarchy is what benefits from a binary.
Oh, yeah.
Like whenever people are insisting, well, who benefits? And if it's the poor, if it's if it's marginalized people getting empowered, well then okay, yeah. But if it's the power structure keeping their power, then we get to call BS.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we're doing.
I just want to go back to the comments that Robert read from the schools, whatever. Their lawyers told them that you have to say something, and they said it. And then the church said, we're not going to do this BS. We're going to follow the patriarchy doctrine that we've been following since we gave up on following Jesus. We are going to tell people that you will do as we say, and if you think that it's just a statement from the church, no, these are the rules, and if you go against the rules, we'll just shut down whatever is going against us. So you can have your lawyers tell you a whole lot of different things, but when the church decides that this is what they're going to do, then there's no more conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would like to think that someone vetted that document before it went out. And remember, this was supposed to be going out as a resource, but I'm surprised by how many of them took it as a guideline, almost as an edict from the bishop saying this is how it's going to do. So I want to say shout out to I think it's St. Andrews,
St. Andrews,
who stood up,
absolutely. Yep.
which also says a lot about that particular community, that they're woke in a different kind of way.
For St. Andrews.
But what do you say to the person who says, but it is the Catholic Church? We've been around for millennia, and you know, the Holy See is its own, it has observer status at the United Nations. Like it's a country, it's a church, it's a cult, it's a culture, it's everything. And who are you to tell us that we can't think that boys are boys and girls are girls and God has a Y chromosome? And like, who are you to tell us how to be Catholic?
I think the invitation is that if we are having to rethink what Scripture means today and get behind what it says and say, you know, that may not be what that particular Scripture meant when it comes down to slaves, obey your masters.
Yeah.
But
Maybe it's time for the
again,
Catholic Church to say, we need to rethink what we've been doing.
I'm a Catholic theologian all at once, and and I'm going to say that, but the church, the Bible comes out of the church. The church decides what the Bible means.
Right.
So you don't get to disagree with our interpretation of the Bible because it's our book. We gave you the Bible to start with. So now what?
Well, Catholics, it's time for you to rewrite the Bible. If that's the position, rewrite, reinterpret, and
Or
re-edict.
read.
Or read.
Actually, read the Bible.
Yeah.
Read and see what's in there. Don't let others tell you. This is what it says. Pick it up for yourself. Read it yourself. And
Oh my
come
goodness.
to your own conclusions.
That brings me back to something a friend of mine.
You went to Catholic seminary. You did too.
We both did, but a friend of mine who was Catholic, a deacon, and the whole 9 yards, one day we were sitting talking about the Bible, and I said, well, when you read the Bible, what do you see? And he said, oh, our priest said that we can't read the Bible
exactly.
because we don't have the wherewithal to understand what it's saying.
Yep.
So when I learned that, I said, okay, we're not talking just about a religion. We're talking about a cult that wants you to think one way and never ever question them. Because like you just said, if you pick that book up and read it, you'll realize that Jesus was a radical for freedom, a radical for democracy, a radical for everything that could be right with us. Read the darn thing and you learn something.
Yeah.
Well, he was executed as an insurrectionist.
Yes.
The charge is on the cross, INRI, Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews, that he was an insurrectionist over against the Roman Empire. That's why he was killed. I saw this wonderful meme the other day. Everything you really need to know about religion, you can find on a meme or a bumper sticker.
That's true.
I saw this wonderful meme the other day that said, if life begins at conception, then all men are transgender.
Ooh, I like that.
Hello.
Because those parts come along later.
In the wives.
And right?
Yeah.
So the more dogmatic you are, the more your dogma gets in the way.
Yeah.
And then even for the fundamentalists, Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve, except in one of the two conflicting creation myths in the Bible. Here's Adam the man, and from his side comes Eve. The man gives birth, which means she doesn't have an XX chromosome pairing contribution, which means that she is, if not transgender, intersex. And so, I mean, take it as literal as you want to until it gets in your way. And then while you're doing your mental gymnastics, we're going to go on and try to be people of the 21st century.
Imagine that.
And care about people's lives.
All right.
All right.
We are excited to tell you we are going to cruise the Eastern Mediterranean this fall that will include the world's major religious sites of Christians, Jews, and Muslims as we visit Athens, Egypt, Israel, and Ephesus on our 3 continents cruise. You can find out more and reserve your space at happeningout.travel/sunshine.
Would you like to join the Queer God Squad on a special winter cruise in 2024? Well, now you can. You will visit Cozumel, Mexico, Grand Cayman, and Ocho Rio. And you can even add an open bar and Wi-Fi. Join us by going to happeningout.travel/sunshine. www.travel/sunshine.
Happening Out Television Network is a 501c3 nonprofit media platform in the television and radio model of PBS and NPR, but designed for our LGBTQ+ community. The Queer God Squad is part of one of the largest LGBTQ+ media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network.
Our mission is to support the 10 pillars of the LGBTQ+ community, including the Black community, Latino, lesbian and queer women, trans, students and youth, seniors, HIV and AIDS healthcare, social justice, business, and our 10th pillar is faith. Help us support our LGBTQ+ community.
That's today with the Queer God Squad. We want to thank you for joining us. We're here daily at 3 p.m. to have some fun and to discuss what our LGBTQ+ community is talking about.
Sunshine Cathedral is the world's largest progressive queer church. Progressive, queer, and God are words that naturally should go together. And we all are in this together. Remember that.
You are God's miracle, not God's mistake.
Until next time, we are the Queer God Squad. Goodbye.
Bye.